All right, it's drill time. It's physical control time. Let's do 8 to 12 strokes across the page this way. All the way off the page. Right, left. These are longer. And we're going for straight lines, but we're going for fast lines first. Fast, light, touch. A feathery touch first. Accuracy and straightness second. You will naturally get an arc with this, and we're going to counteract that arc. And there's some tricks to that, but first we must go quickly. That's the speed. Psh, 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 psh. We do not want to go like this. That's not allowed for this. What we want is all the way across, all the way back, all the way across, all the way back. Drag your knuckles. Drag your fingernails. All the way across. Light lines. Nothing too dark. We need a feathery touch all the way across and all the way down to the bottom. It's off my camera, but we'll call that Venetian blinds. All right, let's tear it out and go to the next page. And when you're working with these tablets, make sure that the bottom is flat to the table. Sometimes students will roll their tablet over like this, and then that's not flat underneath here. So do what you need to do. Tear it out, mash it down so that you have a flat surface. So we'll go to the back of the page or to a new page. Now this one is all the way across. We're going to go horizontal. And the previous page that I did, if you could do the front, you could do the back like that, the Venetian blinds, and you could do 3 or 4 more pages with that. How many do you want to do? Well, how many do you need to do? Well, how good do you want to be? All right. So let's go all the way across the page. That's the full 24 inches all the way across. And let's march down the page. There's 2 or 3 inches in between. It's going across, and march yourself all the way down the page. 8 to 12 strokes. These are the longest lines we do, and they're for the hardest, so it's very physical. For this, you might want to stand up. You could also downscale this and use smaller pages. You could get the same, mental workout. But it gets physical when this is large like this. But we'll physical control all the way across, 18 by 24 inch lines here. All right, and then when you go all the way to the bottom, at the bottom, place an X right there. And now I want you to turn it around so the X is on the top. And it was going off my camera, so I could have put another line there, but I didn't. All right, now let's turn it around like so. X is at the top now. Now let's redraw these lines right on top of what you drew. 8 to 12 strokes right on top of what you drew. All the way to the edge, all the way off. And we're shooting for these lines to be straight and parallel. All right, but first and foremost, we want this nice speed and light touch. There's a lot of physical adjustments and a lot of physical control. A lot of fine motor and gross motor coordination to do this. And that takes repetitions. And notice I can see when you draw them, repeat them this way, you might find, and you're probably finding, that they turn into little long, narrow fish. Right? Mine are pretty straight, but we can see that some of them here and here just kind of get thicker in the middle. That's pretty good. That's pretty straight. But many of you will notice I'll do one on a new page here. Many of you will experience the phenomenon of you've got one line this way, and then when you turn it around, you've got one line this way, and so when you try to put the lines on top of each other, you get these long, narrow fish. Did that happen to you? Well, that's natural because the swinging pendulum of our arm wants to do an arc. And when we turn it this way, look what happens, a swinging pendulum. But our brain can override that if we know there's an arc. All right, so we have an arc problem. See how it's natural to do an arc because our arm's like a swinging pendulum. So how do you fix that? You know it's supposed to be there, but how do you train your body and your arm to make it go straight? Well, here's a tip for you. So that's very unnatural. There's a lot of adjusting that's going on there. Unnatural adjusting, whereas this is very natural. It's just a swinging pendulum. So let's make it even more uncomfortable. Let's exaggerate it down to valleys like this. I'm coming down. There's a lot of adjustment here. So I'm going to go 8 to 12 strokes this way. I'm going to march down the page. You doing these valleys. Oh, very uncomfortable. This is drawing from the outside in. Very uncomfortable. The arm does not want to work that way. All right. So if you do enough of these repetitions, you're over-exaggerating it down, then a straight line seems easy by comparison. All right. So less painful, less difficult. So you have a new perspective. Overtrain to make it more painful or more difficult, then that straight line, and I make it a little darker here just so you guys can see that straight line is easier once you do some of those. And a lot of repetitions. How good do you want to be? It takes pages and pages and pages of these. And so this is something you can always go back to. Use a long pencil. That helps. It's a balance thing. And we do want them to stay about that dark. So don't go as dark as I went down here. Don't go there.